Wow, Fred, I can really see that you're personally motivated to help the sickest nation in the world by coming to these Health Journey Lifestyle Conferences. But could you address your spirituality and how this connects you to God?
I'd be very happy to do that, Rory. In order to address that correctly, I like to go back a little bit to my very, very beginning many, many years ago. And I'm talking about back into the 30s and the early 40s. It just so happens I got thrown out of every school I ever went to. I couldn't read in the 5th grade. I was dyslexic. I was classified as being learning disabled, and I couldn't speak clearly. I had a pretty bad speech impediment, which I still hear, which sounds like a heavy Brooklyn accent. So I come to realize that what's going on in a person's heart and their mind, when I say heart, I'm talking about on a spiritual level, is very, very important. I didn't really have much hope for my life at that time, and at that time, I focused everything on the physical. As I said before, I was a big kid. When I was 16 years old, I was almost 200 pounds. I was into, playing sports and, I don't want to say running the streets because I wasn't a bad guy at all. I came from a very good family. We were taught the right things and never was sick. But I thought there was much hope for me as far as becoming any kind of an intellect. And what happened there is I focused on sports, and I'm a very committed, disciplined type of a person, so I did very, very good where I focused. But then I started to realize that there was a lot more to my issues than what I was realizing. And I ran into a guy that was a blessing to me. He was actually a boxing coach, and he was an African-American guy that was really was a great guy. But what that man did for me is he helped me spiritually. And that was a real blessing because the spiritual part of this is much more important to me than the physical part. I have no trouble controlling myself with food or with anything. I have craving. Anybody who's ever sat down with me, a lot of people don't believe I eat the way I've been eating for all these years, and they think it requires tremendous discipline. I'm not going to say that because it's not me. It's my spiritual life that really empowers me. I have tremendous faith in God, and that's what empowers me. To be empowered, you have to have some kind of a faith system. You have people over in the Middle East that are willing to blow themselves up because of their belief system, because they believe in something. Now, I think that's misguided faith. I'm not going to judge anybody, but when you have a belief system and you're empowered by that belief system and you really believe this, you can accomplish unbelievable things. I tried many, many things to find out the truth, and the empowerment, the strength that I got from my spiritual life was just awesome. I believe that's more responsible for the quality of my life and who I am than anything else. At this point in my life, I believe that I started from such a position where I thought I was going to be a loser. But I believe that God gave me a little bit of a gift. And I believe that it's a blessing to be a blessing to other people. I believe the spiritual aspects of this, as I said before, the human condition is spiritually, vibrationally induced, chemically, electrically empowered, and biological carried out. Your body is at the bottom of this paradigm. Once you understand the other part of it, the emotional, psychological ramifications, the fear, the anxiety, the depression, all these, they could be addressed in other ways, not just through pills, not just through food. They can be addressed in other ways. So to be spiritually grounded is empowerment. Empowerment to accomplish great things in education. I should have never got an education. I ended up doing very well. I had 2 careers in my life. I had a master's pilot's license. I did very well in school, and I thought I was going to be an absolute failure. So there's a lot more to this. I want to get into this when we have this lifestyle conference. You can do unbelievable things. We limit ourselves, and we can be empowered by the faith in what we believe in. If you believe in something totally, how do you think you train a good warrior? How do you think you take somebody out you're preparing from life is a series of struggles. It's like being in combat. When you take somebody into combat, you have to train a guy to believe that he is awesomely powerful, that he could defeat any kind of an enemy. Once you convince him to believe that, he becomes a warrior. If he's going out into combat and he's afraid, he's going to be overrun very, very easily. I always believed that. I always used that in my philosophy about life is a struggle. You have to think about life as if you were a warrior, and this life is an ongoing thing. We all encounter many different problems, serious diseases, disappointments. But if you are grounded and you have a very strong faith that empowers you, with each struggle that you encounter, you're going to become a stronger person. If you quit and succumb to the struggle, you're going to be a weaker person. Spiritual muscle, it's extremely more powerful than physical muscle. So that's been my experience. And someday I'd like to share some of my own experiences with people that would be interested. Very, very profound experience that I've had in my life. It's dramatic. And again, I always say the bottom line is results. What has worked for me, I'm not saying it will work for everybody else, but I've seen it work for many, many people. So I believe this is very, very important.